Ariel, I don't want to go inside a debate with you because you are an expert on debates. But my first question is how to go inside a debate.
How to go inside a debate?
Yes.
I think the first thing you need to know is what you want to achieve. You have to set expectations with yourself going into the conversation. People don't change their mind like this from one side to the other. It takes multiple conversations. So the first thing you have to do is you have to say, this is what I want to achieve from this specific conversation. The second thing you have to do is understand what the other person wants to achieve.
All right.
And if you know what the other person wants to achieve, you need to use their value system in your own arguments in order to get them to agree with you.
But many times it's different when you are in a debate, like a political debate,
right,
or when you are in a debate with some other person, because that we say it's a discussion. A discussion is a debate.
Well, a debate is any exchange of arguments around differences of opinion, right? So if you think A, that the government should lower cost of living and take less taxes, and I think actually the government should take more taxes and invest in the people, right? The traditional Democratic versus Republican philosophies in the United States.
Yes.
You have a debate. If you think people should not eat meat and should be vegan, and I think it's okay to eat meat, that would be a debate. So anytime we have two possible opinions or two possible philosophies or two possible interpretations of the best way to solve a problem, we have a good debate.
You have many times debates. You have debates with your spouse, with your partner, with your kids.
I try never to have debates with my spouse.
All right, that's a good idea.
With your spouse, just say, "You're right, my dear."
All right, that's a good question on that. You don't have that. With your kids, how to teach them? Many times it finishes with, it's like that because I'm your father and that's it. I'm your mother.
Right.
That's it. Or now the kids say, you never know anything. You doesn't know. How to avoid that? Because we always think about debates about big companies, big politicians.
Right.
But that's a debate which small thing about, I don't know, are you going out or not going out with your kids?
Right. I think it becomes more and more difficult the more it's personal and the more authority you have. When you have authority, it's very tempting to just use that card and say, I am the dictator, I decide. But the fact of the matter is, if you need to use that card a lot, you're probably doing something wrong in your ability to get the other person to want to agree with you. That really is the secret. The secret is not to be smarter or to have more facts or to be stronger. The secret is actually to find a way of understanding what the other person wants and then get them to want to agree with you. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that I believe that there should be free public transportation.
All right.
Because I think that there needs to be more access for people who don't have money to transportation, to jobs, to employment, to tourism. You disagree with me because you feel that transportation causes damage to the environment.
All right.
The natural thing most people would do was to argue with you.
Yes.
Say, what are you talking about? So there's a little bit more pollution. I'm trying to help people make money. I'm trying to help fight poverty, and you're arguing with me about the environment. A better approach for me would be to say to myself, okay, he cares about the environment. I wonder if there's any environmental argument I could provide to support my suggestion about transportation. For instance, what if we were to use electric buses? Or what if I were to show you that the people who pollute the most are the people who make the least amount of money? And if we give them free public transportation, they will have jobs, they will have easier access to employment, they will therefore make more money, and they will therefore buy better products that are less harmful to the environment. The only way I got to that point was by asking myself, what do you believe? And then seeing if I can use what you believe in order to get you to accept my opinion, instead of challenging what you believe.
That's the best idea, no? In Mexico we say,
the best idea.
Be in the shoes of the other person.
Exactly.
It's a very popular phrase in Mexico.
Right.
Is that the best way?
Yes.
To be in a debate, to be in a discussion?
I think so, because for two reasons. Number one, if I can find a way of using your value system to support my opinion, there's really no reason for you not to agree with me. In fact, you will want to agree with me because I represent something you already believe in, right? The second reason I like the whole idea of being in other people's shoes is because most people think of persuasion and debating as a very rational, arguments and facts, but there's a lot of emotion involved. So if I'm going to walk in your shoes, I'm more likely to feel your emotions. I'm more likely to be empathetic to how you feel. And if I can use that, if I can show you that I accept how you feel, you're more likely to accept how I feel.
It's good in a discussion to make the other one feel bad, because there are many times when you're in a discussion and you say, you don't know, you are stupid, or let me show you how I know. And I bring many cases like, for my memory that somebody in 1988 said about it, and I have these proofs about it. It's good that strategy, but it doesn't work anything because it happens all around to say that.
Generally speaking, as a rule, it's a bad strategy. For several, the idea is this. I don't like debating, really, because debating is about one side must lose in order for the other side to win.
All right.
Nobody likes to be a loser. So if I convinced you, if I asked you all the tough questions and I made you feel stupid and I showed you that you were wrong, and you were like, okay, I have nothing else to say, 10 minutes after the conversation is over, you're walking home, you will naturally go back to your original opinion. And the next time, you won't even want to talk to me because I made you feel bad. So the idea is not to make you feel bad, not to make you feel defeated. And on the contrary, to see if I can show you that you and I actually agree. There are opportunities where you might want to make somebody feel bad or defeated, and that is if you are having a debate with them in front of an audience.
All right.
Right. So if you want the audience,
and others can be other couples in the table, for example, or some other kids, or some other. That's an audience,
Less.
or you're making about politics.
Politics. if I'm having a political discussion, or let's say I'm in university,
Yes.
and I'm having an argument, even with my professor,
Yes.
or with another student in class. If I can make the rest of the class think something bad about that person, by default, they're more likely to want to agree with me. Now, one of the ways I can do that is if I can get that person outside of their comfort zone, if I can destabilize them. So if I make them feel bad, and as a result they start yelling and they misbehave, and I
Who yells? It
the
has
other
to
person.
be the one who yells. It's mostly to be losing.
Yes.
All right. So never yell in a discussion.
Yes.
Don't show madness.
It's unless the audience will appreciate it. So again, there are general rules, and then there are specific exceptions to the rule. As a rule, you're right. You don't want to yell. You don't want to use force. You don't want to use authority if you don't absolutely.
You don't want to shoot him.
You want to. It's a process. And by the way, I think the number one most important part of persuasion is not what people think at the end of the conversation with you. It's how people feel at the end of the conversation with you. Because I can give you the most incredible arguments in the world about some idea or another. Within 10 minutes, you will forget 90% of what I've said. But a year later, you will still remember if you enjoyed the conversation or not. When you think about Ariel, will you be like, or will you be like, that was it? And that feeling is the most important foundation to any conversation I will have with you in the future.
That's what you are going to give. Now you are coming to the Cumbre of the Desafío here in Mexico. That's what you are going to teach, to show, to talk about in this...
Partly. So I'm going to be talking about two different ways of persuading people or influencing them without authority.
Right.
One way is going to be very, very rational. How do you identify what they want? How do you identify what they think is standing in their way? And then how do you present what you offer as a solution to the obstacles that are facing them as a way of them achieving what they want? So everything I say, when I try to convince you, I'm only showing you that I am trying to help you achieve something you want. That's a very rational approach, and we're going to learn how to do that. And then we're going to learn a different approach, which is non-rational, which has to do with how you feel, not what you think. It has to do with trust. Can I get you to trust me by building a good relationship with you?
How do you do that? If I don't know, you have to know the person, or can you do it just sitting with me for some seconds?
You can do it sitting with you for some seconds. The first and most important thing to building trust is finding things you and I have in common.
All right.
Right? For instance, do you speak Hebrew?
Yes, I speak
You
Hebrew.
speak Hebrew. So we have something in common because there aren't a lot of people who speak Hebrew. So when you want somebody to trust you, you need to build a relationship with them. In order for them to want to have a relationship with you, they have to feel comfortable with you. One of the things that makes people feel comfortable is when they think they know you, when they think they have something in common with you. We like the same sports team. We went to school in the same school. We both love the same country. We speak the same language. We have the same hobby. We read the same book. We like the same food, and so on
Exactly.
and so forth. And that's how you begin the process of building a relationship. But I will teach much more than that. I will teach how to build a relationship over a period of a year.
All right.
Yeah.
Will you teach also when to go out from a debate, or when to say I'm not going in that debate? You say you never debate with you never discuss with your wife.
My wife.
All right, that's we never know. You have to have the last word.
You don't.
Yes.
Nobody needs me to know that.
No,
Anybody
no,
who's married knows.
Everybody knows
already.
that women we have the last word. Yes, ma.
Well, no, I will have the last word, and it will be okay.
Okay, all right. Will you teach them people when not to go in a debate, in a discussion, and when to go and when to say it's loose because I'm not going to win or not going to get anything with that person?
So what I will be talking about in the conference is. So what I will be talking about in the conference is less about general persuasion, less about debate,
Yes.
and more about how to improve your influence
Yes.
in business
Yes.
with professional relationships. So I won't be talking about things that have to do with politics or sports or how to debate over dinner, but rather if you are a professional in the workplace and you are trying to build collaboration with other people inside your company, or you want to build a partnership with another company, or you want to actually sell more to your clients,
Yes.
how can you do that?
All right.
And that's what I'm going to be talking about. How do you sell more? How do you build trust? How can you even get a client to prefer buying from you, even if your price is higher?
All right.
Even if the product of the competitor is better.
Right.
If this plate that I'm creating, that I have, is not as good as the other plate,
Yes.
but we have a good relationship and we have trust,
You
you will probably buy from me.
So who has to go to this Cumbre Desafío? Who do
Right.
you think it has to be? Which is the target?
Anybody who is a manager in a small, medium business or larger, who is responsible for managing other people.
Yes.
Anybody who is responsible for relationship building and sales for the company. Anybody who is a project manager and needs to be able to get different people to work together to execute a good project over a period of several months. Anybody who needs to get other people to do what they want in the professional arena without authority.
All right.
That's the emphasis. If you don't have authority but you do have responsibility, this will be a very good seminar for you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Let me